Ladies and gentlemen, and fellow professionals, please allow me to introduce myself. I am David Jones, the co-founder and CEO of the HELLO LLC, where I am passionately dedicated to guiding individuals and businesses toward their own return on time investment. Time is my only competition. With over 20 years of experience as a corporate C-level executive, I bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the HELLO LLC. My career journey has been marked by a relentless pursuit of excellence in marketing, strategy, and business management leadership. I have had the privilege of working with renowned Fortune 500 companies such as Xerox, American Airlines, Hilton, and Geico. However, what truly drives me is the transformational work we do at the HELLO LLC. We are pioneering a new approach to business in the metaverse, where we empower businesses and individuals to build strong foundations, automate their processes and systems, while thriving in the ever-evolving digital landscape. More than just a 3D digital marketing agency, the HELLO LLC is truly a community built on love, kindness, and integrity. We want more for you than from you. As I often say, collaboration is the new competition. In an era where time is the most precious commodity, I am here to guide you toward your own return on time investment, because if time was sold in stores, it would be sold out. With a deep commitment to excellence and a strong belief in the power of community, I don't just lead a company, I lead a movement into the future of business. Ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a pleasure to be your guide on this remarkable journey. I am David Jones, and together, we will embrace a future marked by success, collaboration, and the transformative work we do at the HELLO LLC. HELLO stands for helping everyone live life optimally. So, let's make that pivot together and start living life optimally today.
And good evening, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is David Jones, CEO of the HELLO LLC. And HELLO stands for helping entrepreneurs leverage leading edge optimizations. And I'm your business moderator for this evening on the Black Business Network. And the Black Business Network is a 24/7 business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought-forward leaders worldwide. And we have speakers from all over the world, from London, from Singapore, from Africa, from Japan, from North Carolina, from Chicago, from New York, from Los Angeles, cities all over the world and the United States, and myself included. I'm coming to you live from Guanajuato, Mexico itself, right? Buenas noches. And more importantly, guys, look, the Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, to inspire, and to educate businesses about businesses, especially as we pivot and move into the future. And even as we talk about this right now, you all can go and visit the HELLO Plaza in Metaverse from your actual cell phone, from your actual laptop, and you can experience what the future is now, especially after all the conversations we've had today with Mr. Hook, with Mr. Carl, with Miss Cleo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Miss Denise Spiller. She's a former correctional officer. She's a digital nomad like myself, which is amazing. She's an entrepreneur, an author, a tech enthusiast, and she's crafting custom curriculums for local governments and private corporations. And she's a global citizen all over the world. You never know where she's going to be. Right now, she's in Ghana, and it is with pleasure to introduce you all to Miss Denise Spiller.
Hi, David. In Grenada in the West Indies, a Caribbean island. And yes, Maggie the goat is a big part. She's become a very big part of my story. Somebody said today, "Are you the goat whisperer?" I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm here partnering with two organizations, and I'm teaching workshops and helping people figure out kind of what they can do to not only sell their products, but get their ideas out of their head on the page and out into the world, into a global marketplace. The challenge is that I come to overlooked communities, and sometimes you don't know what you're going to run into. So they may not have internet. They may not have constant light. They may not have electricity. Here, fortunately, that's not really Grenada's problem. Their problem is more that a lot of times people don't even realize that the Caribbean may have limited resources. We just think of it as this beautiful place, which it is, but they are limited on resources. They are an island. They have to import quite a few things. And so I'm running into very creative, lovely people who are like 5 generations deep, and they may be creating on their farm. And they bring these items. Some of them have brought their product into my workshop. And I had a young man who was 72 years old who just got a cell phone, and he doesn't know how to get that product out to the world. He's barely getting it out to the other communities. So I meet them where they are, try to help them figure out how to expand their businesses, how to expand their ideas, and how to turn their ideas into cash flow. It's really straightforward. I'm teaching them everything I've learned from being a freelancer and a digital nomad, as you mentioned, for since 2020. But I've been a freelancer for like 10 years. I've made all of my moves from starting as a writer. So it's fun to learn as I go as well,
Absolutely. And from one digital nomad to another, you said something that was key, that a lot of the times, we have these expectations or we assume of what other places around the world are like and have no clue, and vice versa. And especially in the part of the world that you're in, we see the ocean, said, just the necessities that us as Americans, we take for granted. I mean, being here in Mexico, the lights, the internet, that goes off. It's no big deal. The lights, internet go off back at home. There's a problem. And so it's just, the ways that we look at life and how we have to be able to adapt and look at it from different aspects, especially as we open up to this global market. So, as a creative individual like yourself, how do you navigate the balance between writing, the entrepreneurship, and your personal life?
That is a great question. And I am working that out even as we speak. I have been working that out for years. I have always had a focus on my health, not just my physical health, but my mental health. It's important to me. And, as a creative person, if you're dealing with anxiety and fears and depression, it's hard. So I've always first tended to the spiritual side. I believe wholeheartedly, and there was a time when I would never have said this, but I know that my dreams are so big. They're too big to have come from me. I know they came from a divine inspiration. So I give credit to God for any creativity I've ever had. I am never limited on ideas. I never run out of ideas. As a matter of fact, I have to kind of organize myself that way. So I relax and I get quiet and I try to plan out my move, plan out my day, eat right, not drink too much caffeine. That balance is so important. Your health is so important. Without it, health is wealth. That's your first thing right there, right? So what better way to start than that spiritual health, then that physical health, and the spiritual health helps you with the mental health, So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of balancing. I just mentioned the other day that I had to take my Sundays back. I try not to be online on Sundays right now. It's really important to me because I feel like I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions. So I try to encourage other people. You can't please everybody. And I heard something. I heard that if you try to be everything to everybody, you'll be nothing to somebody or anybody in a minute because you're going to fall down. You'll fall down, you'll fall sick, I've had some sick days in my history, and I don't fall sick, often, thank God. And when I do, it's like it really kind of keeps me down. It's like I haven't been sick in so long that when I do get sick, my daughter always says it, man, when you get sick, you are down for the count. So when I feel tired, I try to go to sleep at a normal hour now. I used to burn both ends of the stick. I don't do that anymore. I rest when I'm tired. I eat when I'm hungry. Those basic things. It sounds real basic, but we will dismiss our basic needs when we're serving other people. We will put those things to the back. And I'm saying, no, put that in the front.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself first so that you can balance it all out and then take care of others.
You're absolutely spot on, because today, I was talking with Tara, and she's like, baby, when's the last time you meditated? And I was like, ooh, maybe before Thanksgiving. And she said, yeah, let's go meditate. And that in itself is a prime example of not burning ourselves out. And even then, when you said that, right, our self-care, especially for the Black community, we tend to let that go wayside, especially for you mothers, right? Giving everything to the kids and the family other than to yourself. Looking at my mom, and just knowing now what meditation does for me, right? Especially after today, after meditation, it was being aware. It was being able to not only be aware, but be aware of the experiences that we create through our awareness. And then through those experiences, that relates in that, comes out our emotions. And so if you're aware to the experiences that create the emotions, then your day will go a whole lot more smoother, especially through the conversations you're talking about of what to eat, right? How to eat, what to manage, your time, and how to utilize your time. And so that is so, key. And so speaking of this and putting together this mental health, this physical health, and all the rest, what inspired you to, pursue the path of entrepreneurship?
Man, David, you know what? I'm one of those people where when I was a kid, my best friend, she actually was my neighbor, and it probably was an excuse to be out of the house, but we used to make things and sell it. And she had a Filipino background. She was Filipino. We would make the pancit. We would make all kinds of stuff, and we'd sell it. And we would make, we'd make some money. That was the 80s, 70s, late 70s, 80s. We'd make a little money, and it encouraged us to do it again. And sometimes I honestly feel like some of the neighbors that knew we were coming would just give us a couple of bucks to get us off their porch. That was a time when you could go and knock on the front door and you could have a lemonade stand. Now it's a little bit different. Kids aren't really out like that now. We have a different world that we live in, but I believe it was always in me. And then my dad was an entrepreneur. He called himself an enterpriser, and he had an arcade shop in San Francisco. He also had another shop in another area in San Francisco after he shut down the arcade. And at one point, he returned to Alabama, his home state, from California, and he opened a business there as well. So I don't know if he knew what he was doing. When I spent time with him and he took me to the shop, he had me rolling quarters in the back. He would empty out the machine and give me the quarters and had me rolling quarters in the back. And I'd have to count them out because we didn't have that nice little thing that they have now where you put in the quarters and it. So we didn't have that. I was counting them out. And I had to put a piece of tape on each end and write 10 on it, because so when he took it to the bank, and each time I did that, he gave me a roll. And he really set something up for me, because I put that roll in my drawer. And then when I went to the bowling alley, that was a thing. I went to the movie theater, that was a big thing for us. I always had money in my pocket. I always had this money. So I feel like I was maybe born with an enterprising spirit, but at the same time, watching that and being a part of it, it helped grow it.
I love it. and we always, I think we all have these stories as entrepreneurs that we reminisce back on, through our past of, this is what my grandfather did, or this is what my father did. And, it really gives us this foundation that, continues to push us forward and give us these, these building blocks that we built on as we move forward. And so I love the fact that, being able to count out the quarters, and even now, right, as we move forward with this technology, there's no need for any cash anymore, in some of these countries. And even as we talk about digital nomad, just the currency difference, people don't know that. And so these are things that we have to learn and adapt to. And so, what ways does your family, ties into the decision, of, your professional choices, as we talk about, these habits and conditioning ways, leading us to the next question?
Man, my family, I come from a very big, strong, loud family. There was a time when I used to just say it was the women, right? I come from some strong women, but I look at it now in my later years, and everybody in my family is strong. My uncles, my brother, my sister. I could go across the line. I can look at the younger people who are younger than me, my younger cousins, my daughter. They're strong. It's a strong family, and it plays into everything. I might be, one time somebody told me I was overly confident, and I think it's because I made them a little uncomfortable. I don't think it's overconfidence. I think it's coming from this family of strong people. My mother is a force to be reckoned with. So, nothing coming around that lady is going to be weak. You gotta stand strong to stand next to her. And she's a little thing. So I don't think it's overconfidence. I think it's coming from this strong, independent, outspoken, and confident family. And so in that, I walk in that, being comfortable in that kind of a walk. And I believe it really serves me well. It serves me well I remember one time, I'll leave you with this one. One time my mom said, I was telling her, I wonder if she remembers this. I was telling her, oh my goodness, I was nervous because, I have the law enforcement background. I was nervous. I was young in law enforcement, and they were putting me in a training officer position pretty young. And the people that I would be training didn't look like me. In law enforcement, there wasn't a lot of us when I first started in there, a lot of people, female, Black officers. There were just a sprinkle of us. They were making me a training officer. So I'd be training these guys, like, I'm in my 20s and I'm like 22. These deputies are 40, non-Black backgrounds, and it was intimidating. And I told my mom, I said, I gotta walk in this room. I just finished the FTO training. It was 4 weeks away from home. I come back, I graduated, and I said, I gotta walk in this training and train these guys. They're gonna already be sitting in there. Man, I never felt this way, like that knot in my stomach. She said, if you're gonna walk in that room, you walk in it like you own it. And I was like, oh, I had to think about that, and I sat on it. But when I got there, I got in the parking lot, I drank some water, I was feeling nervous. I kind of, did my thing. And I took a deep breath, and I held my head up high, and I walked in like I owned it. Now, never let them see you sweat, that kind of thing. Of course I was nervous. Of course I was a little intimidated. But maybe walking in like that, with that confidence, to some people, it's like, who does she think she is? And that's okay. You know who you are and whose you are. And walk in there like you own it. Whether you feel it or not, it'll come. It'll come. Your voice will come. It'll raise up. So my family plays a part in everything. You can be no punk with my brother and sister. No.
Well, and we all have that person in our family that we know not to mess with. We know we better come correct, right? Or you know what's going to happen. And so, this is absolutely spot on. And then, that mentality of being in, that position, and then, telling these other men, let alone the color, let alone the age of what to do and how to do it, and then to repeat that, that in itself was a hard task in itself. And so, you mentioned a lot of the support from your mother, your brothers and things of that sort. How has that support system, really contributed to your success?
That's an extension of like the previous answer. You know what you do when something goes wrong? What you do when something doesn't work out, when you're feeling a doubt? Sometimes you'll be quiet and you might go into prayer, or like you said, Tara had you go into meditation. She was probably in self-preservation mode because she knows how you are when you don't meditate. She's a smart woman. She's a smart woman. So your support, they're who you go to when things are going really bad. And on the flip side of that, they're the ones you go to when things are going really good. They're the ones that are going to be like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. At the same time, they're going to be the ones that are saying, you can do this. On the other side, they might be like, is it time to come home, baby? So they play into all of it. Into the good and the bad. They're always there on the foundation of everything I do. Like I'm walking, sometimes remember when you're a kid, a person would get on all fours so that you could get on their back and get over, and then you reach back. Like we used to do that kind of thing. It's like that.
Yeah.
Those are the backs that you're stepping on, those strong people in your life. And I'm so fortunate to have so many strong people, my aunties, my cousins, my mom, my sister. I mean, they're all there in everything I do.
Yeah. And, answering that question for myself, I always go back to when my father was about to open up his own barbecue shop, and something happened, and he decided, or just something fell through, and I remember him and my mom getting in a huge argument, and he went back to his construction company, and I remember how much that hurt him, and how much that just, because barbecuing was his passion. And I just, for myself, those conditions, those habits, those stories have pushed me even further to become successful, to remember those stories. And even more when you say, traveling and being an entrepreneur, and this girl, she done took you across the world, you better come back home, and all this other stuff, for yourself, can you share how these experiences as, a world traveler, a digital nomad, how they've influenced your entrepreneurship journey?
So my dad worked for United Airlines, and as such, our family got to travel on we did the standby thing. What comes along with that is getting stuck.
Yeah.
You might get stuck. I remember Chicago airport. I don't like to fly through O'Hare to this day, because we've been stuck there a few times.
They've been doing construction on that airport since the 50s.
Oh my goodness. I haven't been there in a very long time, long time. I try to avoid it. I recall that I always considered it an adventure. And the beauty of being able to travel often is that my mom and dad would hop on a plane, or my mom would take us on a plane and take us to our grandmother's in Alabama. And my grandmother was this little lady, but I think all the strength came from that woman. That's why all of her daughters and all of her sons are so strong. All of my aunties she was just a little powerhouse. And all of my cousins, it feels like I grew up with them, even though they were coming from other states. The parents would drop us off when we spent summers at my grandmother's house. Now, as an adult and as a parent, I realize all those parents were taking advantage of getting rid of their kids for the summer. I don't even remember saying bye to my mother. I think they were dropping us off, and they probably were just slowing down the car and saying, go ahead, and we jump out, So,
when you coming to get me? You'll be all right.
I don't remember having conversations on the phone. I just remember my grandmother and her cooking and all my cousins and us sitting at the table together. And that love of being with the family and then being able to travel back. And I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is an area of such diversity and people going in and out and us being all over the place. It's played so much into my entrepreneurial like endeavors that I want to travel. I love people. I want to meet people. And I've been able to put that together with my writing and my service mentality and serve people where I go. I intentionally travel to underserved, overlooked communities, trying to do what I do, trying to show them how I've done what I've done. Because can you imagine meeting a writer, these creative people in these communities, and then showing them how to get their writing out there, how to log on, how to get on some of these sites, how to be able to research their books. And it's like a beautiful feeling because it's something you've done. And then there's things they want that I don't know yet. And I'm okay with saying, I don't know that. Let me get to some research. And I come from every workshop learning something new, something that I need to learn and take back to the community, take back to this one person, take back to the lady that's trying to sell her spices off of her farm. So it's an incredible, it's like it's satisfying, the desire to travel, the desire to write, the desire to help people. And I'm just getting so much fulfillment from it. You know, I'm learning probably more than I'm teaching, if I'm being honest. I'm learning so much. It's been a beautiful journey so far.
Yeah. You know, and that's something that most people will not understand until you get out of the forest and you're able to travel around to these other countries and you're able to see how other people live and how they associate with life and how they fulfill their life. And it's not just on success. It's not just on the value of money. It's on the value of community. It's on the value of, you know, of the family staying together. And that's so key. That's so important, especially those of us that, you know, live when we had the family reunions every year and family was important and we checked up on one another and we know how that community is. And so, you know, I love that you share that because I share that with so many people that, you know, hey, look, you don't know how blessed you are until, you know, you go somewhere else. You know, being in Colombia, being in Mexico, I tell people all the time, you know, I can take you down a path that will make any board in your city or your state look like the Ritz-Carlton. And we seem to forget that, you know, at the end of the day, when we look at the way other people are doing things and especially creating businesses for themselves. And I remind people that every day there's 1,400 self-made millionaires in America. You go across the pond, there's double that with less, right, of the things and the opportunities that we have. So that's why it is copy, paste, drag, drop. And it's up to you to continue to move forward. So, you know, what advice would you give someone starting in an entrepreneurial world, considering your own journey and your experiences?
So the first thing I would say, if you're already working, like if you're not already at home pursuing the entrepreneurial like path and you're working, I started before I left work. And a part of me would have done better to save a little more, plan a little better before jumping out there. So I would say if my first bit of advice is that if you're working and if you have an income coming in, start planning now, start the business now, get the business plan written, do what you can while you're still getting somebody else's money so that you can get it started, so that you can have that income that, you know, to help you get the journey going. But if you're already in it, that's a whole nother bit of advice. The plan is really, really important. The business plan is really important. That outline, very, very important. And it seems like it's this basic advice, right? It seems like it's something that everybody knows, but you can lose your way a little bit. You can get really, like myself, I have so many ideas, and then I meet people and they give me more ideas. And you can kind of lose the foundational outline and be adding those colors into it and making it all colorful. It's black and white on paper, and all of a sudden you haven't looked at it in about 6 weeks, and you done added all these colors that it's not ready for. So I have those pivots, those they're not pivots, they're bullet points, right? I have those bullet points on a page to remind myself, I'm only here. Let's just put that note, that idea on page 3. We're not ready for that yet. So that's why I say that outline that comes from your business plan is so important, because you can run off in another direction and actually not be ready for it. And I've made that mistake before. So that's the best advice I can give if a person is already on the journey. Remember why, remember what you're supposed to be starting. Don't be little creative over here, adding all the rainbow colors when you're not ready for that yet. Keep it black and white for a minute until you're ready, and keep looking back at what stage are you on. Look at your bullet points and stay focused up so you can make it to the rainbow. You're just not there yet. You can't start with the rainbow. It costs a little more. You got to build up to get there. Hope that analogy made sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And especially as you say, the bullet points and writing these things down and being able to stay focused and to stay concentrated on these things. And I'll even add on there to these bullet points and things that you should be focused on is your SWOT, right? Your strength analysis, right? And not only that, your actual technology strength, right? Your weaknesses towards technology, the opportunities you have towards technology. And not only that, how are you going to use this technology? And one of the things that you said was make sure your foundation is in order. So often we go here, we go there, we go here, we go there, and we don't have our foundation in order. And before you know it, we're lost. And then that's where we get off track, right? And so one of my last questions that I have for you before we get out of here, right, is, what drives your passion for helping others get on their feet? And how do you envision making a difference in their lives?
So I want to tell this story because I used to be ashamed to tell this story. And I want to share it because sometimes when you get where other people are really pumping you up and they're saying, man, we love what you're doing. Somebody behind you, there's somebody in front of you always. There's somebody looking at you that's either younger or just they don't have the experience or the successes you have yet. So they're looking at you and they're like, man, she's doing it. She's over there in Grenada. And they're just thinking you just got there and don't know those challenges, right? I was in the Dollar Tree. So for the people in the United States, you know what the Dollar Tree is. And I was with my daughter. My son had already moved out. And I was really, really having a broke month. And I don't even like to use the word broke. I've taken it out of my vocabulary because it's such a bad word. I don't ever want to feel myself as broken, but I was really broke, and everybody can relate to that. And I needed $8. We had chili dog. We were going to have a chili dog dinner. I needed $8, and the bill came up to 7 something. I had $7. No change in my pocket, nothing. I was coming up short by $1. So I'm sitting there embarrassed, mortified, because I got $7. I got my baby girl here. She's like, she's not that young. She's old enough to know that So we're whispering about what we should put back. And I tell it with a little bit of humor. And my daughter and I laugh about it because we're sort of like, remember when? But in that moment, I was so mortified that my daughter and I are whispering about, well, we got to have the cheese. We don't have to have the cheese. Well, what's chili cheese, dog, without the cheese? You know what I mean? I'm laughing and saying it in a funny way now, but in that moment, we were literally trying to figure out, put back the cheese. And the guy behind me, older Black gentleman, gave $1 to the clerk. And I was so mortified. I was so ashamed. I could barely look him in his eyes, but I did. And I said, thank you. And I grabbed my stuff as quick as I could. You know, the only reason I didn't cry was because my daughter, you know, I made a joke about it and we laughed about it. And we're like, ooh, we about to have our chili cheese fries and I mean, chili cheese dog and our fries and all that. But I promised myself, if I ever meet anybody that's in that position, if I ever meet another woman, another father, it doesn't even matter, Black, white, yellow, male, female, I'm going to not only understand, because I know I won't always be here. I know I'll be in a better place. I always want to be able to reach back and remember that there's always somebody that needs that level of help. You don't know why they got there. They might have just made a couple of bad choices. They might have had a flat tire, had to use the last money of their check. You don't know. And you can't judge people. We can't judge the person that's homeless on the street saying, well, he must have made some bad mistakes. That's how he got there. That's just not true. You have no idea what people go through. And so having been there before, I want to serve other people to help them get to the place where they can look back and reach back and bring one forward. I feel like that's our purpose here. Our purpose is to, with whatever we have, shouldn't we help each other get to that next level, especially in our community, especially the Black community. We need each other. We need each other. And that's my why, is to never be there again. And to be able to look my daughter, my son, my nephews, my mom, my sister in the face. And kind of be like, look at what y'all did. Because every single one of them has poured into me. Every single one of them.
Yes, ma'am. And so with the little bit of time we got, Mrs. Denise, if you could tell the people where they can find you at, how they can get in contact with you, so we can get this party rocking and rolling and the show continue to roll as it should. So tell the people where you're from.
So on LinkedIn, I'm Denise Analee Spiller. On Facebook, I'm Denise Spiller, the writer, or writer Denise Spiller. On Instagram, I'm a relentless writer. I think I'm pretty easy to find. You know, if you can't remember those, I'm really easy to find. I would love to have a conversation with anyone. I am going to be hosting a retreat. I am an empty nester, and I do serve other people who are like myself. They're on that second chapter, and they're looking how to get the ball rolling because they've been a caregiver for so long. I'm the one to help you with that. I'm going to help you figure that out, because it's about not just chasing your dream at this stage, but catching it.
Absolutely. And with that being said, Ms. Denise, we greatly appreciate you coming and joining with us on the Black Business Network. It was an absolute honor. And with that being said, genius is coming, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, David.
Yes, ma'am. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
are you an innovative entrepreneur or business owner ready to embrace the future of business transformation?
The world is evolving at an unprecedented pace, and it's crucial to adapt and pivot towards success in this dynamic landscape. At the HELLO LLC, we are dedicated to guiding you through this transformative journey, offering a comprehensive suite of services that extend beyond the metaverse and 3D immersive experiences.
Our mission is to empower businesses and brands by assisting them in building, branding, systemizing, and automating their operations. We specialize in steering businesses from a two-dimensional existence to a thriving three-dimensional presence, where opportunities abound.
We help businesses harness the power of technology to work smarter, not harder, enabling them to operate efficiently and stay ahead of the curve. Our diverse range of services includes:
our Biz in a Box is a complete business solution package designed to jumpstart your entrepreneurial journey. From strategic planning to digital infrastructure, we've got you covered. Your one app, one tap solution.
Our MotionWork AI videos transform your brand storytelling with our cutting-edge AI-driven video production, captivating your audience like never before.
Our 3D VR environments will step you into the future of immersive experiences. With our custom 3D virtual reality environments that engage and captivate your customers.
Lastly, in our Pivot membership program, we offer tailored guidance and support to either show you, teach you, or take care of the transformation process for you.
According to a 2023 study by Fundera, a staggering 28% of small businesses in the United States do not have an online presence. This statistic underscores the importance of embracing digital transformation. Having a website is more than just an online presence, it's a gateway to unlocking numerous benefits, including reaching a broader audience, showcasing your products or services, generating leads and sales, establishing trust, providing customer support, and maintaining competitiveness within your industry.
The HELLO LLC is committed to helping you excel in all these aspects of modern business, not just limited to the metaverse alone.
Why should you choose the HELLO LLC to navigate this transformational journey?
By partnering with us and harnessing cutting-edge technology, you can provide immersive experiences for your customers, expand your global reach, reduce operational costs, and enhance brand recognition, all while working with a company that holds integrity in high regard. Our commitment to ethical and principled business practices ensures that your journey towards success is not only innovative, it is also firmly rooted in trust and transparency.
Don't wait. Take the first step towards a brighter business future. Contact us today to explore how we can support you in developing a remarkable digital presence and immersive experience that will leave a lasting impression.